everyone, this is Packet Tracer. I've already started the program, so this is what it should appear like when you start it on your own. And since it's a new piece of software, I thought I'd just give a short, quick, brief introduction about it, even though there are tutorials in the version you downloaded, and I suggest that you take time to review them because you'll end up using this software all the time. Anyway, once you get it started up here, where I've, well, unfortunately I just moved the screen, but anyway, up here at the very top, you've got the menu bar, and it's File, Edit, Options, View, Tools, Extensions, and Help. Directly below that you have a series of toolbars, or tool buttons, New Projects, Open a Project, Save. Of course, most of you know these because they're fairly common. Zoom in, zoom out, and then these last two, which is a Drawing Palette and Custom Devices dialog. That's a good work area at the top for some of the more common tools. What's more important is what's down here at the bottom. Down here at the bottom we have several different types of devices listed. Routers, and notice as I move my mouse across them, here in the center it tells you what kind of device it is. Multi-user connections, wireless devices, custom-made devices. I'm going to do a real quick sample here to keep this video very short. Let's say that I had two computers, two devices, end devices. I click on end device, and notice over here it changes and gives me all the different types of end devices I can have. So I'm just going to choose generic. So generic PC in a lab. And then I'm going to choose another generic PC in a lab. And notice that as I put those on the screen, and location is not so important with small projects, but with large projects you would obviously want to lay them out very nicely. Notice that the first one is named PCO and the next one named PC1. This is going to be the sequential naming of devices as you add them and before you configure any of them. Now, for me to connect two PCs together, I need a device. So we'll think of a LAN type device. So I want to go here to switches and click switches. And when I click switches, it gives me a collection of 7 common Cisco switches. I'm going to choose the 2950. It's a 24 port switch, which would easily do everything we want to. And notice when I placed it, it pops up and shows me what each port is, or how each port is configured. I want to do something really simple. I want to go to connections. I want to choose automatic connection. I'm going to click on the first PC, drag my mouse over to the switch, click on the switch, and it's going to connect that switch. I'm going to do the same thing again from the switch to the PC. Now, if I go back, notice that it automatically connected the first one to port 1 and the second one to port 2. Now, I can go in and change this. You can right click and go to the properties, but of course that's a little bit more advanced. But for basic functions, we'll just keep it with what we've got. We've got two PCs, each of them connected to the switch, and they're connected on ports 1 and 2. I'm now going to go to this PC, and I'm just going to give it a quick, I'm going to double click it, and it pops up the configuration of that PC. I've got the physical configuration, any configuration I want to key in manually. I have a desktop connection and software services, which aren't important with a PC. I'm going to go to IP configuration, and I'm going to say static, and I want to give this one an address of 192.168.1.2 and a subnet mask that defaults to class C. And I'm not going to worry about gateway because we've just got two PCs connected, or DNS because we're not worried about this particular example being on the internet. And I'm going to exit out of it. So that's .2. And then I will close this, and I will do the same for this computer. I will go to desktop IP configuration, static, 192.168.1.3, again defaulting to class C, and I'll turn it off. I'll turn the screen off. So now these two computers have turned green. That means they're communicating. Now here's the cool part. I can now go to this computer. I can go, give me a terminal connection. Wrong, sorry. I'm in a DOS prompt. Go to a DOS prompt, and I can say, can you talk to this other computer? Ping 192.168.1.2, and it says I sure can. So we know that data can travel across those two devices, and we could add 100 more devices. And later on you will have a lab where I will ask you to add several devices to a simple switch and configure them so they will work. We can do other things here. I just wanted to show you the basics, just that, that's a simple program that starts, but it's also a very complex program. You can do advanced routing. We can set one of these devices up as a web server, and we could use a virtual web browser to go to that server and see if it runs. We can set up security settings. We can take a packet of data, a simple packet, stick it here and tell it to go to here, and then we can watch it, and down here it'll tell me if it was successful or not. Anyway, the basics of